Hey guys, welcome back to Deadman1010 and welcome back to another video and another WWE predictions video at that. And today's, or tonight's rather, predictions video, my time at least, tonight, is for the one, the only, the Royal Rumble. And yeah, on the last video I did, it was on the Vince possibly selling his company to Saudi Arabia. And luckily, I don't think that has happened. No changes have been made, no cigars have been cut, or any of that nonsense. So everything is still the same, and everything's still been going fine and dandy in the world of WWE for what it's worth. And things are really, really starting to shape up when it comes to what's been happening in WWE with that thought in mind on the road to the Royal Rumble. And we're going to be talking about all of that and more and me saying my predictions and what have you. And yeah, you get the drift. You'll figure it out as the video is progressing. That's for sure. But we'll be using Ross's video to do this, and I'll put his video in the link. Well, I'll put the link to his video in the description box below of mine, so then you guys can obviously check it out whenever you want. But yeah, so that's what we'll be doing today or tonight, my time. But you get what I mean. That this is what we're doing right now. Is we're doing the prediction video for Royal Rumble 2023. Kind of crazy that I'm saying that. Jesus Christ. But anyway, let's go.
Ross back at it again with another video. So we're back once again with some preview and predictions for the Royal Rumble. I am looking forward to this event. I've been looking forward to it since Triple H has taken control of creative, and I'm very
Yeah, we are not gonna get a bad Royal Rumble. I don't think Royal Rumble matches, unlike last year. Last year's men's Royal Rumble was dog. Like, it was so bad, so bad. Like, in so many ways. Good lord. Oh boy, and top it all off, Brock Lesnar won it, and newsflash, he's also going to be in the Royal Rumble this year. Hopefully he doesn't win it, but I think we've got a feeling which ones are likely to win it, which are either The Rock, by assumption, well, by speculation, and then Cody Rhodes by assumption, seeing as he's been already announced ahead of time as somebody who will be returning at the Royal Rumble. So there you go. But moving on forward.
interested to see how things will play out. So I'm going to give my preview and predictions on who I think is going to win certain matches and where things may go leading into WrestleMania season. I think a lot of us are all excited to see what's about to happen for this year's WrestleMania. So we're going to start with I'm gonna start with the women's Royal Rumble match. Now I'm not about to go through and see, guess who's gonna be involved, but
to be fair, we're not going to go through that either. I will tell you one thing, and that's the fact that I think like 10, 11, 12 people have been actually announced for the Women's Royal Rumble. Although I think somewhere around the bend, I think I heard that it was up to 17. So we're probably going to get some surprises in that situation being. And the nice thing is obviously those surprises haven't been linked out and what have you. So these will actually be proper surprises. Well, not apart, but rather than it being surprises in inverted commas. So yeah, that should be a lot of fun. But despite the surprises, despite the entries that are most likely going to be in, I'm personally pulling for Rhea Ripley to win this year's Royal Rumble, because she had an amazing year last year, and it only makes sense to have her keep on with the momentum and therefore have her win. So that is basically my idea going into this Rumble, pretty much. So yeah. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm pulling for, Rhea Ripley.
I will say the top person I feel that will win the Royal Rumble, I think Rhea Ripley's going to be that woman, man. I think it just makes sense. A lot of people have speculated Rhea Ripley winning. It only makes sense. I know Bianca and Rhea were supposed to have a match a few months back, but I believe Rhea ended up getting hurt, so they kind of
Yeah.
postponed that. And then when Rhea came back,
Yeah, I think that was also at a time where the Judgment Day really weren't doing much and were kind of just bad rather than actually being decent. So it was dark times for the Judgment Day, that's for sure. But they've obviously come back, and they've come back swinging based on what's happened over the last load of months, like the whole home invasion angles with Dom and Rey Mysterio, or better yet, what's been going on recently with Dom and Mummy training, or really, it should really be Dom and Rhea training, but you guys get my drift. If you're actual wrestling fans, you'll understand that joke. But, yeah, so they've been doing that thanks to, well, I don't know, thanks to their brains, they thought of it. But, in all seriousness, thanks to social media, that's obviously how we figured it out. Because there was a video posted on WWE's YouTube channel about that. And yes, I did go out of my way to watch it, and it was quite amusing to watch. Because you just had Dom just saying constantly, "Mummy, mummy, mummy." It was really funny. But yeah. So yeah, I'm rocking with Rhea to win, and yeah. Let's keep going.
they they nodded to it. Like Rhea looking at her championship.
Point is, I do think that it makes sense for her to win and go on to face Bianca, because that match obviously never happened thanks to Rhea's injury. So it would be cool to have that actually occur.
As Bianca's walking in the back, they nodded to it. They didn't just, really expound.
Why did that recording thing on the PlayStation have to go? That's really annoying.
All your stuff synced on all
Whatever.
your devices.
It's fine. It's
There's
fine.
no place like Chrome.
Upon it, and I appreciate that.
Well, point is, all I'm gonna say is, yeah, I'm pulling for Rhea Ripley, and I think she will win and face Bianca, which means that Bianca kind of has to retain against Alexa Bliss, which means Uncle Howdy could have an appearance when it comes to Alexa Bliss. That's my vibe. But we'll obviously talk more about the whole Uncle Howdy and Alexa and Bianca and Bray and LA Knight stuff a little bit later. But point is, I'm pulling for Rhea Ripley to win well, not win something, but win the Royal Rumble. And yeah, go on to face Bianca and have the match that we should have got a little while back last year.
So I do think it's Rhea Ripley's time. Her being in the Judgment Day, her being a heel is the best thing that has happened so far. For her career, in my personal opinion. I do think one of the women that
Yeah, the Judgment Day have, yeah, Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day, yeah, it's been the best work of her career by far. Nothing even remotely touches it. Not even close. Like, thanks to her work in the Judgment Day, she's kind of become kind of an attraction when it comes to what fans talk about every week. And, yeah, it's no secret. I mean, you see it kind of everywhere in a sense, because you see those home invasions, but, yeah. So she's made some real big waves for herself, so good for her either way. And, yeah. Well, good for her anyway, not either way. I knew what I was meant to say. But, yeah. Point is, needless to say that after the amazing year that she had last year, she definitely should be the one to win this year's Women's Royal Rumble. Needless to say.
should probably be in that match, and it will be a great moment and a great pop, is to have Beth Phoenix be in that match. I would love to see Beth Phoenix in that match. I think that
that would be cool in storyline terms, because most of the time when it comes to Beth Phoenix and Royal Rumble matches, she's just one of those nostalgia pops that you get, which is, there's nothing wrong with that because I'm kind of a sucker for nostalgia, but here there's actually a storyline involved in it, which makes it even greater. And that's the storyline of what happened at Extreme Rules, where Rhea Ripley pretty much KO'd Beth Phoenix. So, in Edge and Finn Balor's I Quit match. So, yeah. There'll be proper storyline material to work with there, which, yeah, will be very, very cool. That's for sure.
That would be pretty cool.
Obviously, I don't expect Beth Phoenix to eliminate Rhea Ripley necessarily, because she should be the one to win it. Rhea Ripley, that is. But having them go, like, have a tussle and obviously trying to kill each other, which, yeah, that will definitely get the fans going and will be definitely a lot of fun to witness. It'll be a cool moment, that's for sure.
And once again, Rhea Ripley still gets the best of her because it just, they can trade shots and stuff like that. But Rhea Ripley ultimately is the one to win the Royal Rumble because it just makes sense. You want to create another star. I think that is the best way.
Yeah, Beth has had her time. Like, she's obviously got to be obviously the wife to Edge and obviously the mom to her kids. So it doesn't really make a lot of sense for her to win the Rumble with that thought in mind when you got the entire women's division that is kind of your future of the women's division literally at your disposal. So it makes no sense to have a part-timer and a legend like Beth Phoenix win it. No disrespect to her, obviously, but I would still love to have her in the Rumble for that crowd pop, not to mention nostalgia and story-driven motives to go after Rhea Ripley. Like, that will be amazing. That would be so cool. I didn't even think of that until now.
You can possibly,
given the fact that it was mentioned,
do it is just having Rhea Ripley be that dominant heel that Bianca now has to face. And ultimately, I do think Bianca will fall to Rhea Ripley. They're trying to build her up as the next heel star that the women's division need, especially on Monday Night Raw. So I'm going with Rhea Ripley winning the men's Royal Rumble match. Let me know, who do y'all think will win it if y'all have someone else picked. And I went with the women's Royal Rumble match first because they usually start off the show with them being the first match. I believe they've done that in the past couple of years, so maybe they'll switch up the order, but I don't know. We'll see if they have the women's match being first. All right. Next, we got Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss. Bianca's retaining. Bianca's retaining.
Yeah. So basically, we now go on to an actual match where we talk about where we'll go from here and feuds and what have you. So this is kind of where it gets a little bit more informational orientated rather than just speculation and judging what the superstar has been up to in recent times. Because this is naturally a one-on-one match, and it's for the Raw. I think it's for the Raw Women's Championship, and it's Bianca versus Alexa. Bianca Belair versus Alexa Bliss, and the feud's been pretty good. And Uncle Howdy has shown up in some bits, and there's been a lot of premise on Alexa Bliss thinking that she has control, whereas Uncle Howdy begs to differ, and in that situation being, I think that will ultimately be the thing that costs Alexa Bliss the Raw Women's Championship. I think Uncle Howdy will rear his head and therefore distract Alexa Bliss or hit her sister Abigail or Mandible Claw or whatever, one of the three, and therefore Bianca be able to, maybe retain, or maybe it might be a thing like what happened at Battleground 2015 with Brock and Taker, where Seth just gets declared, where Seth got declared the champ like the night after. So they might do that with Bianca. That would be kind of cool to do what they did at Battleground 2015. That would be very, very interesting. Sure, it wouldn't be a shock or anything, but I mean, I think it would be kind of cool. It's only just come into my mind right now, but yeah, it would definitely be interesting if they did something similar, where they had Uncle Howdy interfere in the match, and therefore basically, I don't know, distract Alexa Bliss, hit her sister Abigail or Mandible Claw on her, but Bianca scurry away, and then she get declared still the Raw Women's Championship winner or whatever on Raw. That wouldn't be a bad way to do it, to be fair, because you want to make sure that the story is really on Alexa and Uncle Howdy, and obviously the links to Bray Wyatt. You know that Howdy could have something to do in the Lights Out match or whatever it's called, Pitch Black match with Bray and LA Knight or LA Knight, which we'll obviously talk about in a bit. But point is, ultimately, I think Bianca will retain, and I think Uncle Howdy will be the reason why she retains. So yeah, feud's been alright, and where I think the feud will go from here, Bianca will face Rhea for perhaps the Raw Women's Championship at Mania. Although I don't know what's happening with Elimination Chamber and all the rest, but I guess we'll see what occurs when it occurs. But, yeah. So in that situation being, yeah, I think Rhea and Bianca will happen at Mania. And Alexa will perhaps get recruited by Uncle Howdy or something. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's something that could occur. Thanks to, obviously, tonight after tonight. So, yeah. Enough said, really. Let's move on to the next match that's on the cards. Now that I've said my old spiel and opinions about this match.
I get it. Alexa Bliss is charged up now with the Fiend magical powers. Bianca's retaining. I just don't see Alexa Bliss beating her, and kind of allude to what I was saying with my pick for Rhea winning the women's Royal Rumble. It just makes sense for Bianca to retain so she can face Rhea at some point down the line. I just can't really see it. I think there's gonna be some shenanigans, obviously, with Uncle Howdy and Alexa Bliss, but I do feel like Bianca Belair will overcome the odds, retain, and still be Raw Women's Champion. Next after that,
that's what I
Bray
believe.
Wyatt versus LA Knight.
Speaking of the devil, so LA Knight versus Bray Wyatt. I can't remember what it's called, so we're going to pause the video back on a sec.
In the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Shout out to Mountain Dew. Sponsoring this Pitch Black match. Honestly.
Okay, so here's the deal, guys. We know literally nothing about this match other than the fact that it's won by pinfall and submission. And according to the Bray Wyatt interview that happened recently, which is amazing, by the way, definitely go out of your way to watch it for yourselves. It is amazing. And I'm definitely going to do it for myself at some stage before Rumble actually starts. And yeah, it's an awesome interview from what I've heard. Bray goes on about a bunch of different things. He goes on about his special moment with The Undertaker at Raw 30 recently. He goes on about the whole Alexa Bliss thing that happened a couple of years ago. He goes on about a bunch of different things. He goes on about The Fiend for like a little bit. He goes on about Uncle Howdy and the stuff to do with that. And he also mentions, here's a key pointer that I really want to bring home. He has no idea what the rules are for the match. So we have literally no clue at all. So it literally is what the name suggests. A pitch black match, which means we know nothing. Other than the fact that it's won by pinfall and submission. But and the feud's been very, very good, by the way. Very, very good. But, and it's been very, very, it's definitely dragged on for a lot of people, so I will mention that. But for me, personally, it's been very, very good. Lots of great storytelling and what have you. And, yeah. It's been very, very good. Very, very good indeed. And Uncle Howdy has definitely had a visit or two in the feud too. And, yeah, that was all pretty dope. So, Having said that, putting all the pieces together of what we don't know and what we do know, a lot of speculation is leaning towards LA Knight winning, and to be honest, I think it does make sense for him to win because he's like the younger star or whatever. So, but then you don't want to really have Bray lose his first match after like nearly 2 years. You wouldn't really want to do that. And also the fact that it's his match, his kind of match as well. So I feel like it makes more. It's different. It's a difficult one, man. If they're going to be having another match, let's say like I don't know, Elimination Chamber, where it's a little bit more, I guess, normal to an extent, then I mean, have Bray win, whatever. If they're not, then just have LA Knight win, but maybe before like Bray goes Super Saiyan mode and like potentially unleashes a darker version of the Fiend. So therefore beat him while he's in his weak state right now. So that would definitely be key for LA Knight. So in that situation, if we're going by that storyline of terms, then and especially given the whole Uncle Howdy thing and how he's kind of on Bray's side, kind of not, then I think LA Knight will. I think he. Yeah, I think I'm going with LA Knight to win, to be honest. Because of all the severities surrounding it. Like, I do think that Uncle Howdy, similar to the Bianca and Alexa match, will interrupt up the Pitch Black match too. I think that will happen. I firmly believe that. And therefore take out Bray Wyatt, and LA Knight will most likely win. So, yeah.
I've really been going back and forth with this. At one point, I was thinking maybe LA Knight gets the win here because Uncle Howdy ends up costing Bray. But I feel like you've bought Bray back, and you've been building this up for months. You kind of book yourself in a situation he gotta win. This is a match he set up. His version of a match he wanted to do, sponsored by Mountain Dew. I think he has to win. You don't build this guy up. You don't even have him lose in a weird finish or a finish that's beyond his control. No, you have him win. So I'm going with Bray Wyatt. I know people are, want LA Knight to get his just due, and I do think he could possibly be someone that's a standout in this year's Money in the Bank. So hopefully he gets his moment. But I do think it just makes sense if you're gonna do this and you've been.
Plus, it's not all bad because if he enters into the Royal Rumble match, then he's got a chance to have a standout performance in that. So realistically, this could go either way, and this could benefit either guy. But I think long term, I feel like LA Knight would be the guy to go with. That's just what I feel like. Because I think all the severities surrounding it and everything, I think lean towards LA Knight winning. Which is weird, because for the longest time, I figured in my mind, oh, Bray's gonna win. But then obviously, as I've begun to obviously figure out more things about the match and about the storyline and what have you with some of the Discord friends that I talk to on like See Wrestling server and what have you, definitely subscribe to me and see. Both of us do some pretty dope content. But needless to say, and definitely join his Discord server and mine. A lot of fun stuff ends up on C's server. Not so much mine, but it can be fun. But needless to say, yeah, you'll get more fun out of C's, realistically. But either way, enough about all of that. Point is, yeah, so having obviously chatted with them about it off and on and all the rest, I have leaned towards the idea of LA Knight, which sounds a bit stupid because it's like, oh, they're bribing you or something like that. No, they're just telling me simple information that actually makes logical sense. And therefore, yeah, it all leans towards LA Knight, and therefore I believe he's gonna win.
In high on this Bray Wyatt train, he has to win the damn match. So I'm going with Bray Wyatt winning in the Mountain Dew. You got to say the Mountain Dew pitch black match. Should be interesting to see what they do here, but ultimately I'm going with Bray winning this match. And I'm going the next match, the match that a lot of us are anticipating, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Now, I think a lot of us can expect that Roman Reigns is going to win this match. And I'm going with Roman Reigns to retain once again. But I do think there's going to be some shenanigans here, obviously. And I do think...
Yeah, so we've got Roman versus KO. We had this 2 years ago at Rumble. We had this many years ago at Rumble 2017, when Roman wasn't the Tribal Chief. Both matches were pretty good by my memory standards. And I think they're going to knock it out of the park again. These are just two guys that seemingly are destined to fight forever. And thankfully, they haven't had as many matches as Brock and Roman did. And furthermore, if all that wasn't enough, they can definitely put on a great match. So, yeah, this has the potential to be a great little match. And I think Roman's definitely going to walk out on top and retain. And I do think that there'll be some shenanigans from Solo Sikoa, the Usos, Sammy. Sorry about the cough, guys. But yeah, from Solo Sikoa, the Usos, Sammy, and possibly Dwayno. Maybe Dwayno comes in or something like near the end of the match, perhaps. But then you would just believe that, like, Roman was going to lose, you know? Because that would be, like, the whole costing Roman the belts type scenario. So maybe that wouldn't be quite ideal. So, in short, I don't think Dwayne will appear necessarily in the match. But I think he could have the potential to appear at in the Royal Rumble match, at least. So, yeah. So in that situation being and everything like that, yeah, I believe that Roman is going to retain. The feud's been great, and where we'll go from here, I'm not entirely sure, because it all kind of depends on the men's Royal Rumble, and a lot of people are pegging Cody to win, and I am one of those people. I want him to win. We'll move on to that in just a bit. But, yeah. I think all of it kind of leans on the men's Royal Rumble match where Roman goes with his title reign next. So we'll just continue with that in mind.
Sami Zayn will be heavily involved in this because of what Roman has said.
Oh yeah, because of the whole Tribal Chief court that happened on Raw 30 where Sami was nearly kicked out of the bloodline and then Jey Uso saved him by the bell. And now Sami's still in the bloodline somehow. Although things are a bit sketchy between him and Roman and the like. But, as Roman said, this is like his last chance or something to really prove his loyalty to the bloodline. So Zayn's definitely going to have an involvement in this match, having said that. Without a shadow of a doubt. And what involvement he will have remains to be seen, obviously. But needless to say that he will get a fair bit of involvement in the match, I think. Because this is like his last chance to try and prove his loyalty, that kind of thing, blah blah blah, that Roman was on about on Raw 30. I can't remember the exact words that he said, in all fairness. I wish I could, I really, really do. But I can't remember. My memory's just dog. So I'm not going to remember it.
On Monday night. He doesn't want to see Sami until the Royal Rumble. And then...
yeah, so he don't even want to see him till the Rumble. But obviously if you've watched SmackDown, and more to the point, Raw actually, he obviously appeared to help the Usos retain their tag team titles. So therefore, yeah, obviously Zayn got to be on Raw 30 just a little bit more. But naturally, Roman's obviously going to be a bit ticked off about that, a bit peed off and all the rest of it. But obviously that leads us to the Rumble where Sami's going to try and rekindle that friendship that he once had with the bloodline. by doing those shenanigans and costing Owens the titles. And, well, specifically the match. So, as a whole, I think Roman is going to retain and there will be some shenanigans to unfold. Particularly by Sami Zayn.
And only then he will really see if he's truly for the bloodline. I think they're building that story up, him trying to really test his loyalty. But I do think it's going to be a fun match. I hope they knock this one out the park. They've knocked all their other matches at the Royal Rumble out the park, so I think this one's going to be fun. It's going to be entertaining. There's going to be some moments where you think Kevin Owens can get the job done, but ultimately I'm going with Roman Reigns. It just makes sense. It doesn't. I love me some Kevin Owens. Love Kevin Owens. It just doesn't make sense for him to win. Beat Roman Reigns and take the championship off of him. Roman's not losing until WrestleMania. I think we can all agree there. He's not losing until WrestleMania. I think the biggest story is what's going to happen with Sami Zayn. And we're going to get to, obviously, I think the match is probably going to end the show. The men's Royal Rumble. It just makes sense. I know I dropped a video talking about, does Sami win it? Does Cody win it? I think,
So, it looks like he's on to the men's Royal Rumble, so in that case, we're going to obviously talk about it as well. But before we do, I do want to bring up the 2K23 trailer that dropped recently, and it is amazing. The graphics are more or less the same as 2K22 from last year, but let's face it, nobody's really complaining because those graphics were pretty damn good. But in that situation being, great trailer, and not very impressed that John Cena was the cover star. I think that should have belonged to Cody Rhodes. But needless to say, the game looks great, and I've heard about some of the things that you get to do, like having a John Cena showcase mode, perhaps being able to face John Cena on the hardest difficulty, like what you did with Defeat the Streak in 2K14 many years ago. Like, I think there might be a mode to do with that, and that'll be fun. But the showcase is actually going to be a bit different, because it's not really a showcase as such, as just guys that actually beat Cena. So therefore, you get to reenact John Cena's most hardest times. So those involve a lot of great matches that you'll get to play through. And a lot of great arenas, attires, and everything in between that you'll get to unlock. And that'll be a lot of fun. I'm definitely looking forward to playing it for myself. But, now that we've gone on about that, we're now going to go on about the Men's Royal Rumble. And, it is stacked. So, Brock's been confirmed to be in it. There's a possibility of Logan Paul being in it, apparently. Maybe Pat McAfee being in it. This is a bit of a long shot, but Randy Orton being in it. Cena perhaps being in it, Stone Cold Steve Austin perhaps being in it, Dwayne being perhaps in it, as we said previously a little bit ago on the same video, and all this in between. I think who will be starting out the Rumble will be Seth Rollins, that's the general consensus, and then second will be Cody Rhodes, returning from obviously his torn pec that we talked about many months ago, and how we put in an amazing effort at Hell in a Cell despite that. And so in that situation being, so I think Cody will be number 2, Seth will be number 1, and I do want Cody to win, to be honest. I honestly do believe that he's going to win. But if The Rock is in there, then there's a possibility of it being him. But I don't think it's going to be Zayn, to be honest. I do not think it's going to be Zayn. I don't really want it to be Zayn, because I think his moment really comes in the KO and Reigns match. I don't think it's really going to come at the Rumble, like in the actual Royal Rumble men's match. I think it's actually going to be left to Cody Rhodes or The Rock. And I think it's most likely going to be Cody Rhodes. And, I'm rocking with that prediction. Other superstars have been obviously scheduled to be in it, like Braun Strowman, Brock Lesnar. There's a whole list, to be honest with yous. but I obviously don't have the full list and what have you. But I think you might be able to work it out from what's on the roster right now for WWE's roster at this current second, who will be in the Rumble. I think you'll be able to work it out from that. But yeah, with that thought being, yeah, I'm rocking with Cody Rhodes to win it.
Just logically, from what they got going on now, if you don't really incorporate The Rock, which I'm not really going to incorporate into this, I'm going with the guy to win it being Cody. It just, when you put it down on paper, it just makes sense. The vignettes, the promo packages, them announcing he's gonna be at the Royal Rumble, him not even announcing it himself, just in a promo package, I'm gonna be at the Royal Rumble. It wouldn't make sense for them to give him all these vignettes for him to lose. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think people are gonna really complain if Cody wins. The guy deserves it. Once again, wrestled with a torn pec in a Hell in a Cell match. And it was a good Hell in a Cell match. It was one of the few Hell in a Cell matches that didn't really need blood because the story was already there. Someone was legit injured and fighting for their lives in the cage against someone that was being a complete heel. And it was great. It was fantastic. As soon as he was out, I was like, oh yeah, give him the championship when he goes back. He deserves it. So I think him winning the Royal Rumble is going to be a great moment. I'm going to stick with that. Hey, you never know. I could be wrong here, but hey, that's just my predictions on this whole situation. And I'm really interested and intrigued to see where things go in the future, man. WrestleMania season is here pretty much, and I'm very excited. So those are my picks on who's going to win the matches, why and why not. Let me know down below. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that Cody will be the one to win the Royal Rumble this year? And also let me know your other decisions on the other matches. I will say I'm happy that there's not that many matches on this card. It should be, straight to the point, and I'm glad they didn't overbloat it like they've done in the past. The Royal Rumbles had too many mid-card matches or middle of the show matches that honestly didn't need to be there. So let me know down below who you think is going to win, who you think is going to lose, why and why not. But I appreciate all the love and support you guys are showing on the channel. Road to 150K, and I am still your undisputed YouTube wrestling champ of the world. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See y'all next one. Peace.
Yeah, so I believe that Cody is going to win because it only makes sense. They've been doing vignettes for like the longest time, and after obviously his performance in Hell in a Cell last year, the guy deserves it more than anybody. Just from that performance alone, he deserves it. And yeah, I think he could be the guy to dethrone Roman. And yeah, I'm rocking with Cody to win. And with that thought in mind, yeah, if you guys enjoyed this predictions video, then like, comment, subscribe, share the videos, favorite videos. If we could get up to 200 likes, I think that was the like goal we were rocking with, then that'll be great. And yeah, ciao guys, enjoy Royal Rumble just like I will. It should be a good one. I don't see it being any worse than what last year's Royal Rumble matches were, or at least on the men's side. So yeah, ciao guys, enjoy Rumble.